Hello everyone. I am Pratish, editor of Next Big Brand, and in our section of NBV interviews, we have someone who is director of marketing of a D2C brand called Bombay Shaving Company. He's Samriddh. He's with us, and so without any delay, I'll ask him to take it forward. So Samriddh, what is the story behind the start of this Bombay Shaving Company, and what is this unique name, that Bombay Shaving Company?
Hey, thanks, Pratish. Good to be here. Bombay Shaving Company was started about 4 years back by Shantanu Deshpande. Shantanu and the co-founders had one unique connection. They were all part of the Western region. So Bombay was a unifying factor. And that's how the name sort of came about, because that is what pulled them together, right? And 4 years back when we started, Shantanu was part of McKinsey. He was working on a global role. He was traveling all over, and he was deeply inspired by the success story of the Dollar Shave Club, which, if you know, is a challenger men's brand which was built on the back of shaving globally. And imagine this is a scenario that's about 4 years back, and there was an emerging trend in India at that time where there was a lot of aspirational value that men were attaching to their grooming itself, right? Grooming was becoming a relevant part of social conversations, and that is when Shantanu and the co-founder sort of realized that there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity to build a challenger brand. There was an opportunity to build a brand that would start solving specific shaving-related problems for men. And we entered the market with a signature razor, which was India's first and still only precision razor. That is a titanium razor, single blade. You can get your name etched on it. It is the Rolls Royce of razors, man. And that is how we started. Since then, of course, we have expanded into multiple categories. We have recently also expanded into women's shaving. We just know shaving really well. It's just one of the things that we do really, really well in the market. I'm sorry, I haven't shaved, but I've groomed.
Yeah.
So there are other parts of my face that I shave. The idea is that we knew how to take care of men's shaving and beard care needs, right? And that was the clear agenda of Bombay Shaving Company. How can we make shaving and beard care more enjoyable, more practical for men and women in India? We are a made in India brand. We have, for the last 4 years, we have diversified the product portfolio. And today we stand as one of the leading brands from a brand equity perspective, as well as from a trust and love perspective in the grooming category.
No, that's a nice story, and yeah, that the first thing which intrigued me was the name. It's like Bombay, like it has a vintage feel to it. It's like that old cowboy clubs kind of feel. The Bombay Shaving Company, the kind
Correct.
of
Correct.
yeah,
This is something I say a lot, right? Bombay is an emotion.
definitely.
I love Bombay. We are Bombay Shaving Company, but we are based out of Delhi. We all live in Delhi and Gurgaon and other places. If given the opportunity, I would love to live in Bombay. I've spent some time there. It's a beautiful place. But Bombay is an emotion, and I think we have taken that emotion, the rusticness of it, and the premiumness of it, and built that into our product line. So it's there.
So, Samriddh, tell me, like this space, this whole space, the personal grooming space you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were certainly, I remember, like 4 years back, it was just starting out. It was in a very nascent stage, and I think still it's in a very nascent stage. So a lot of brands are there. We have seen brands like Beardo, brands like the Man Company, Ustara, and the best part is this is a space in which I feel there is something for everyone. Like every product is different. Every product has a different quality, and so, but still, among the whole of this, like growing, because like let's say if you had started this company 15 years back, it wouldn't have grown at this pace, right? Because the pace of growth is very, very fast now. In this whole fast paced thing and a lot of competition, how do you guys, like, what is the strategy of staying relevant, staying new, coming up with new products? Like, how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, man. This is a question that we have been faced with many times, right? How do you sort of stay relevant in a competitive category? The fact is that competition is what drives the category to grow in totality, right? So competition is extremely healthy. And competition is also what drives a lot of product innovation. It's what drives early stage adoption. It is what drives a lot of consumers to look at new products, right? And what this has done for Bombay Shaving Company specifically, and how we stay relevant, is that we look at these emerging trends very early on. So one of the emerging trends that we recognized very early on, towards the beginning of last year, was superfoods as a trend, right? It's where people were going back to the kitchen to find solutions
Yeah.
for their skin, for their hair, right?
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to dedicate ourselves to it, especially in men's grooming. The brands that you mentioned as competitors, and they all do a phenomenal job. A lot of them are such. It's good to learn from each other, and I think I have immense respect for all these brands. We all have very differently charted out paths, and
Yeah.
our path is shaving. Our path is to give a little bit more sort of premiumness to the entire range, and we do so by bringing in very thoughtfully created solutions which are based on superfoods. I'll give you an example. We're the only brand in India which has a range of superfoods powered shaving foams. Because we have a turmeric shaving foam, we have an apple cider vinegar shaving foam, we have charcoal and a coffee and an aloe vera shaving foam. Right? No one else has it. We are also one of those only brands who has a range of hair products for men, which are again superfoods powered, right? So what we do is we sort of go into the depth of the category and we create solutions that really help, and that's how we stay relevant. We're also a preferred brand when it comes to gifting solutions. So I remember I spoke about the trust and the brand
Yeah.
equity that is there in the market. So we enjoy an immense amount of trust and equity when it comes to the gifting space. So top corporates in the country choose us as a gifting solution. In fact, it's amazing. Millions of our customers make us a part of their joyous occasions. So we are delighted that our customers choose us to be a part of their Rakhi and their Bhai Dooj and their Valentine and their Diwali. And we recently ran a Diwali campaign and a Rakhi campaign, and the feedback was phenomenal because people love to gift a Bombay Shaving Company kit to their partners and their loved ones. And I think that is how we stay relevant, right? Just being a part of people's joyous moments, and being able to add value to their lives here. That is how we are different than others, right? So we are not just competing on a product to product basis. Our products have superfoods, and our gifting solutions is what really sort of makes us stand out in the market. And we're also the only brand. You mentioned Beardo and Man Company. I must point out, and it's a very important thing to recognize, is that we are very consciously we have chosen to not be an only men's brand.
Oh.
We have a women's shaving range. We have a gender neutral range in terms of products, right?
Yeah.
We have recently launched our Defender series of razors and shaving solutions for women. Which has foams and which has pre-shave products and post-shave balms, and it's one of the best-selling products on platforms like Nykaa and Amazon. So we are not only a men's brand. The brands that you mentioned earlier were only men's brands, and I think that's where the fundamental difference is.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and you pointed out it correctly that competition helps in grow. And second thing is what I said that one point was that every one of these brands, there are a lot of women grooming brands, only women grooming brands, and all of
Correct.
them are very different path. Like everyone,
Yes.
if it's not like you have to choose one of them, you can choose all of them for some reason. They all are that amazing, and that's the best part about this space. I think that everyone has everything.
100%. I think the consumers fault for choice,
Yeah.
and it's a great thing. I mean, if you just look at the numbers, right? I mean, personal grooming broadly, and personal grooming and beauty, it's been about a 8 to 9% CAGR growth. We should be about a 22, 23 odd billion USD by 2022, right?
Yeah.
Broadly, that's a space. Within that, if you look at men's grooming, right, by 2022, the category will be at about 13,000 crores.
So, I mean,
So 13,000 crores and we're looking at a 7% CAGR in this one. Okay, so now 2022, 30,000 crores is what broadly the sector will amass as growth trajectory. And of this, the newest category inclusion is a beard category, is a beard grooming solution, and that's already at some 350, 400 crores, right? So look at the emergence of this category. And this has happened over the last 2, 3 months, right?
yeah.
So huge growth opportunity, huge inclusivity opportunity from a product perspective. I think the men's grooming industry is a small little pond The beauty industry, which comprises
Right.
women across, is the entire ocean, right? So it's
Yeah.
a very small segment that a lot of the other competitive brands sort of play with. We are lucky; we are playing at a slightly larger space, so I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that also makes us a little bit more relevant, a little bit more brand love and brand trust out there.
Okay. So, your when you started out, like it's a very new brand. 4 years is like what a brand is a kid when it's 4 years
Yeah,
old
yeah,
brand.
100%. Yeah.
So if I put it like for a kid to take up the trust of all these, these customers, and it was a very new concept back then also, that men's grooming. Oh wow, okay, so you can take care of your beard also. You can take care. You have oils for your beard also. Nobody have heard of that before. So like
Correct.
how did you, what was that process of gaining that trust, and according to you, how important is keeping that trust of your customer like intact?
Yeah, man. There is, how do I say this? There is no commerce without trust.
Trust.
There is no commerce without trust, okay? Commerce is fundamentally a transfer of trust from one person or one entity to another entity, okay? So whenever we're looking at any commerce, it is I trust you, so I'll give you my money and I'll trust you to give me a good product. The foundation of any commerce is trust. So that's number one. Direct to consumer brands have had it very, very difficult because we were always competing with large traditional brands, and large traditional brands have built trust over years. They have had retail expansion, they have done above the line advertising, they have got brand ambassadors, they have had years to build that trust as a foundation. Direct to consumer brands, unfortunately, we have had to condense all of that in a span of few months when we go to market, right? And then you find product fit, and then you sort of want to put it out there. I think what Bombay Shaving Company did from day one, and we continue to do so, right? It's part of the organization's DNA. And a lot of other brands do it. It's not like us. We are not the only ones who do it. I think a lot of brands do it in the direct-to-consumer space. Is one, authentically we make good products, right? And quality of products help drive consumer trust over a long period of time. Right? So it's not that trust gets built overnight. Trust is a continued process. So first, we focused on making really good products, which is where I mentioned we have the precision safety razor, which no one else has in the market. Right? It's a fantastic razor. Right? If you ever plan to shave, then do try our product. You will enjoy it. I use it every 2 days, and I think it's a phenomenal product. Right? So the product itself lends to a certain degree of trust. More importantly, it is about our ability to communicate what goes into the product. It is our ability to take people through a decision journey, right? Which a lot of traditional brands don't probably need to do anymore. But if you go through our website, there are multiple points where you will find information about the ingredients, information about the process, information about ratings and reviews. We are one of the top rated brands on Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, Myntra, and that is where the confidence of the consumer comes in. When you search for Bombay Shaving Company and you go to a 4.5, 4.8
Yeah.
rated product, and you see that thousands of people have tried it, and you automatically know that okay, this is fine. So,
Fine.
so the consumer trust has been built over, indirect to consumer especially, has been built through crowdsourced transfer of trust. And that is where we have been very successful because we have got the right products at the right price with the right distribution channels and the right customer service. So we also listen to our customers very well. We make sure that if there is a complaint, let's say there's a logistical challenge, there is some kind of a product issue, we always go head first and we try to make sure that we are addressing it very quickly. So we also have the agility which a lot of other brands might not. Larger brands unfortunately don't. So agility is what drives consumer trust in a direct-to-consumer setup. I think it's very important.
That's well explained. And as you said, the last line. So my next question is also related to that. You said the last line that the agility. You have the agility to consumers' need, and I think
Yeah.
that is one thing where larger brands somewhere, they were slow in adapting to that shift of traditional to digital. Now you have digital media
Correct.
with us. So that was
Correct.
my next question. So like you are a marketing guy, so you know what is
Yeah.
the importance this whole thing of digital media, and I'm
Yeah.
sure like you have seen that what used to happen in traditional media and what is happening right now. So tell
Yeah.
me, like, what is the like how as a marketing guy, what is the biggest difference you have felt between the both the media channels, and like how do you adapted to it yourself that oh wow, there is something now where a
Got it.
customer can write on Facebook about my oh god, what will happen now? So yeah, how you
No,
adapted to that?
I think it's lovely when a customer writes about us on Facebook. Most of the times, it's good learning. It
Yeah.
helps us move forward in a much more planned way. Pratish, I have been in both kinds of medias, right? So I started about 18, 19 odd years back, and I did a lot of work in traditional media, and then I shifted to digital media. Um, and I've been asked this question over the last 10 years in multiple ways, and I've always given very evolving answers. I'm going to leave you again with a slightly evolutionary answer, but it's a future gazing answer. Okay, and it's not just about media; it's about understanding the nuance of the two sort of very differently built channels. Okay, so digital by itself is one full channel, and traditional then becomes another different channel. Right, completely two different universes. When you look at digital, right, I'll give you an example. The OTT sector in the last probably 2-3 months has grown by about 30 odd percent from a paid subscription perspective. Okay, so we're talking about paid subscription, we're not even talking about the free consumption that has happened. Free consumption has been at a meteoric rise.
Yeah.
राइट आई मीन सब लोग घर पे बैठे हैं जब से ये लॉकडाउन हुआ है और वो मोबाइल पे लगा हुआ है बंदा
Yeah.
राइट in fact I was talking to someone and they said that I can't go to sleep nowadays unless I watch something on YouTube for a while, right? So it's one of those things where it's become part of your habit, right? So 30% rise in paid subscription from about 22 million to probably 29 odd million is what's happened between March and July 2020 in the OTT circuit, right? That should give you a sense of the amount of content consumption that has happened, right? Secondly, when you look at YouTube, right, and YouTube is where you have regionalization of language and you have vernacular content and you have distribution of media which is extremely sharply defined, right? So India is the second biggest market for YouTube, man, right? So India is the second biggest market for YouTube, and 93% of video watchers in India are watching videos on YouTube, right? So look at that, right? We are the second largest market. 93% of our video watchers end up watching videos on YouTube. And then on top of it, we have about 265 million active users, every month on YouTube, right? So when you look at these numbers, the cumulative reach of this media is something that traditional media could never have imagined, right? Without doing television, right? And now we can do this. We can do this media expansion at a nominal fraction of a cost of what traditional media would have got. And we can track views, we can track click-throughs, we can track top of funnel engagement, we can take people through a remarketing funnel, we can engage with people on social media, we can build content that stays the test of time, we can get people engaged with us in ways that traditional media could not imagine. So if traditional media was about you sitting and shouting away, this is about you having very detailed conversations with people in their own language, on a smaller phone, on a smaller device, and being able to get really into the skin of the game. So I think that is where the differences come in, right? But also social commerce has become really big, right? You look at a Meesho, you look at a Simpson, you look at what's happening with the Trail and a Bulbul TV, and we are all early stage adopters. Bombay Shaving Company is a part of all these platforms, right? So we are. You will soon see us live on many social commerce platforms, right? And we're already live on a few of them, and you will soon see us live on the others. And I think that is really where our close consumer level engagement and impact comes in, right? So media distribution has evolved, but mostly because the universe has evolved, right? TV earlier Indian households were a one screen phenomena. Now that one screen, which used to be a central TV, right? Now that one screen phenomenon has changed. It has turned into a multiple screen, multiple device, connected devices phenomena. And I think that is really where the media distribution comes in. A lot more search happens through voice than it happens through text, especially in South India, right? So if you're not sort of customizing your content for voice-enabled search, then what happens is you end up sort of losing out on the key sort of audience that you want to cater to, right? And we cater to audience across different geographies. So for us, it becomes very, very critical to look at that. So media distribution has changed, your analytics have changed, your evolutionary content consumption patterns have changed. And I think the next few years look even more interesting here. So I'm superbly excited as someone who's sort of seen this evolution. And I I honestly don't have a predictive way of looking at how this is going to go. There are far more media pundits out there who are better at this than I am. I look at them for advice. But I think as a marketeer, I see that content is going to play a much stronger role. And that content becomes far more sharper to be able to build out for brands like us. We would never have been able to do that in a traditional way.
Very true, very true. And like I guess with introduction of all these platforms, and now you can sell on Instagram, now you can sell on Facebook,
Yeah.
and a lot of small like I know a guy who used to sell bakery in like the street adjoining my house, and now
Yeah.
he's on Facebook. People are
Yeah.
going to his like his he's selling it online. So it has changed certainly, and that has been a very great change
Correct.
for a lot of people. I totally agree. And as you said, that content thing and the voice enabled. So since I have bought my TV, I don't think I have typed anything after that. All I use is phone, Chromecast, and just okay, do this,
Correct.
open this, and that's how it is.
Correct. Absolutely. Siri and OK Google are like
Yeah,
the next
okay,
two
yeah,
words that we end up using, right? Yeah,
very,
absolutely, man. And you mentioned the neighborhood bakery, right? And
yeah,
what digital commerce has done is it's democratized the act of selling.
very true.
So now you necessarily need a very large paraphernalia to get into the market. You don't even need a store like a physical warehouse to online, right?
Yeah,
You don't need to set up a lot of things anymore. You don't need technology. You don't need to build a website ground up to go online, right? You can use Shopify. You can use third-party aggregators. You can get others to come in and do fulfillment for you. You can use a dropship model. You can get others to build the
very true.
content that sort of works for you. So I think it's democratized all of it. And that's what's led to a lot of new entrepreneurs, a lot of new brands sort of entering the market because the friction to enter the market has gone, right? And
Yeah.
and the barriers to enter the market and become successful have also gone down by a lot. Right? I
And
think that is phenomenal in this market space as of now. Yeah.
And the best part of digital media is the customer gets to interact, which was lacking in
Oh,
traditional media somewhere. Like I totally feel that. Now you can go on Facebook page and say that yes, this happened with me. Please rectify it, and the brand will rectify it in half an hour or 1 hour. That's the max they take. So that's a
correct,
very
correct. A couple of days back, we got a query on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, I bought this product and it's a 2019 product. So why are you still selling it?" So we said, "Hey, it's valid for 2 years. So that means that the
yeah,
product's valid in 2021 end, right? And we are a sustainable brand. We don't believe in wastefulness. So
very
just because it's a year old, we're not going to stop selling it.
true.
And the product's great, so please use it, right? Earlier stage, what would happen is the guy would have seen the product and gone back to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper would have said, "Kuch nahi ho sakta," and the guy would
Yeah,
have landed in a distasteful, very
exactly.
passive experience here. We did that. We went, we spoke to him, and I think what that has led to is a greater awareness in the market that if a brand believes in sustainability and if a brand believes in sort of a non-wasteful approach,
Yeah,
then they can have a conversation with the customer, which earlier was almost next to impossible to have,
very true.
and that's helped us here. We built our razor system for women basis the feedback that we were getting from women in the market, right? So
Okay.
we keep doing service. And just during the lockdown, we were speaking to our women customers, and we realized that all of them wanted a hair removal solution because they were not going to the salon.
Oh, yeah, yeah, very true.
And and that is when we decided that we were going to turn this into a proper solution and help and help sort of solve that particular need in the market.
I guess lockdown has been reason of a lot of new products coming and people actually
Yeah.
taking this these times when this pandemic as an opportunity, and that's so great that people are finding solutions, people are creating new ways to solve problems which would have if there would haven't been pandemic. I don't think salons would ever shut. So why would someone need
Correct.
that? But pandemic happened and you guys also went through that whole process of thinking and taking that, okay, fine, we can build this. So that's so
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
And
I mean, on top of it, we have opened a salon also, by the way. So,
that's
Bombay Shaving Company, we have opened a premium, high-end, completely advanced sanitized salon in Delhi, and we are seeing people walk in because people who want specific solutions. You want to get a haircut, you sort of back out at work now. You might want to get, you've grown a beard and you might want to get a specific
yeah,
solution for that. So what happens with that is you need a reliable and trustworthy place to go. So we started to offer that for our customers, and that's been great. We have just opened it. It's a good place. If you're in Delhi, do come and visit. I'll let
Definitely,
you know where it is.
I'm in Delhi. I'll talk to you about this later.
Hundred
Okay.
percent, 100%.
So, okay, so as we have seen, recently there have been a lot of, so advertising is a very necessary evil for us, for all of us as
Yeah,
marketers also, and for consumers. So, there have been a
yeah,
lot of unethical, a fake promise thing, which you might have also noticed. There are brands will just promise you anything, and I think things which are not even practically possible, if you are aware about it, they'll just promise you,
yeah,
and then it's just, this is just happening, and it feels so bad seeing this and people falling for that also. Like, okay, why? And I don't get it, why brands are doing it. Like, why are you doing it? This is wrong, you won't be able to do it, but still, just to market your product, just to sell your product, you do that. So as a marketer, how important is it for you to market your things ethically? So you are selling something, and you are being, you don't play with your values. Yeah, you don't play with your values. Like, how important is that for you?
Pritish, it's the foundation of what we do. Yeah, uh, you know, we spoke about trust early on in this conversation, right? And there is no way
Yeah.
that you can build a brand that stands the test of time without there being a very strong ethical framework. Um, we are also bound by very strong guidelines, right? We have a very strong corporate governance sort of policy within our organization. We are invested in by very mature organizations, right? We are invested in by very mature angels. We have a stakeholder system which is very evolved, and that's one of the it's one of the leading sort of globally recognized stakeholder systems that we have, right? From either an angel investment perspective or from an institutionalized investment perspective, right? We are a large enough organization. We have about 100 plus members. We are operating out of 10, 15 odd thousand now, 10 to 12 odd thousand sort of touch points and increasing. We are present in retail in places like More, Health and Glow, Guardian Pharmacy, Noble Wellness, Shopper Stop, Lifestyle. These are all extremely Lulu, for example, right?
Yeah.
These are all extremely reputable brands whom we associate with, right? As I mentioned, corporate gifting is one of the biggest things that we end up doing, and we have had some of the largest global organizations and Indian organizations who have reposed their trust in us for their employee gifting or their stakeholder gifting, right? I think just ethically working, and not just in terms of products, right? So your question is not just about ethically marketing it, but it's about ethically engaging across a stakeholder system, and that is critical because it's not just about the products. It's about what you say, how you say, with whom do you deal, how's your supply chain, where are you sourcing your products from, are you compliant with legal guidelines, all of it, right? And I think we are bound by those things, and more than being bound by it, it is the bedrock of our organization. It is what Shantanu, me, Deepak, Rohit, our co-founder, we believe in very, very strongly, right? We will never deviate from that as a core principle of the organization. So so it's not even a debate, right? It's a given. Yeah,
Perfect. That's so good to hear. So we'll move towards the end of our interview now. So a
yeah,
lot of marketers are gonna see this, and a lot of people who are entering the digital marketing space. So
right.
as a marketer who has so much of immense experience, and you have like worked with a lot of brands also, and in the Bombay Shaving Company, as you said, you built a brand from scratch. Okay, right? There was nothing, you built it.
Yeah.
So can we have some tips, and can we have some basics, that where what do we do, or what is, according to you, what should be done, in a ideal way of building a brand?
Okay. One, I'm going to break this down into two different components, right?
Yeah.
I think as founders, extremely important to know what you're trying to solve for in the market, right? So definitely have a problem that you're trying to solve. It helps if you can enter it with a sharp problem that you're solving for. and then you can diversify. Instead of going very diverse and then trying to solve for 10 problems, try and solve for one big problem and do it really well, and then sort of build on top of that piece, right? So that is one, as a founder. Get your story right. Conserve cash. I say this over and over. Conserving cash is sanity. Everything else is vanity, right? Reality is business, but if you don't conserve cash, you're not going to be able to sort of sustain in the long run. For marketeers, chase your early adopters, right? So if you are entering a direct-to-consumer space, or if you're entering a new emerging space, chase your early adopters. Make sure that you're being able to drive value through them. Make them your advocates. Instead of going for the first, million subscribers, which is going to be a problematic thing for you. Go for the first 100, right? Get them into a community, get them into the club, and make sure that you drive maximum value through them, right? So start off with the intent of driving value to the individuals who first support you, and then build on top of that. Please don't ignore content to commerce funnels. It's the most important piece of your journey, right? Content is what drives commerce. Commerce pushing content becomes a problem in the long run, right? So building content does not necessarily mean very large investments. It means just being able to write that, little piece of copy, just doing 2 social posts, just getting a bunch of YouTube videos done. But please focus on that. That's critical, right? And the last bit, which is for both founders as well as marketeers, is invest in the brand. That is the most critical thing for you to do. That is your moat. Everything else is replicatable. Everything else can be replicated, right? Today we have fantastic products, but as you mentioned earlier, a lot of other people have the products. The reason why people come to us is because they believe in the brand, right? Yeah. Because they feel very good when the brand is in their hand, right? So invest in that. Build the brand as your moat. You can include more products as you go ahead. Solve for one specific problem. Conserve cash. Build a content to commerce funnel, and get your early adopters, nurture them, and turn them into your brand advocates. If you can do that, more or less you'll be in it for the long run, right? And that is what everyone wants, right? So play it for the long run. Be patient. It's patient capital. It's not overnight turnaround capital, right? So be patient with the capital, and sort of use it well to build out the brand. That is my most important piece of advice.
Thank you so much. It was so great having you, Samriddh, here, and I'm
Not
sure
at all,
people
man.
will have amazing insights about it. And thank you so much for joining in today. And I'm sure we'll
Not at all,
hear
Pratish.
from
It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Pratish and Abhishek. It's completely an honor. Yeah.
Thank you.